piano playing. I haven't really prepared this presentation, but I want to say what hobby piano playing is. So it can be done as a hobby, just occasionally. There are also people who do it professionally, for a living also, and give big concerts and play the piano for hundreds of thousands of people. But probably it's about a hobby, just that piano can be played. It is an instrument, so it is making music. And the piano has one advantage, that the music is just coming as it comes. So it's not like a violin or something. That is a C, and it is always a C. There isn't so much which can be done wrong. So very fast the person is able, who is starting, to play just a sound. There's not much by it, just a sound. So that is one of the first beginnings with playing with piano. It is directly a nice sound possible. And now there are also some disadvantages. It can be cost a little money. I wanted to say something to that. Some people maybe have a piano standing around and never even used it. But let's say someone has not a piano, there are possibilities to play it other places, but not for regular people probably. That is more university people. There are also ways to study piano playing and so on. So there is a way to make a living out of it and something, and to study it, but that is done only by a very, very small portion of the people. It is, let's take like other sports, like football or something, just 1 in 1,000 people or 1 in 100 people does it. So one has to have a piano. That is not a grand piano, not an actual piano. It is an electrical piano. It has at least here that I can play louder. So I can direct how loud it is. That would be not too expensive. There are older pianos and other things, so there is certainly something possible. If one buys an actual piano, they have to, from time to fix that they are properly with all the strings and so on. The person might can do it themselves, maybe it costs also a bit money. So these electrical might be probably the first option. They are not too expensive. Now I want to say as one thing here, before buying even such a piano, which is already a few hundreds of euros, pound, dollars, a person might consider to buy actually, as a little tip, a smaller one. It doesn't have to be that possibility, but I can play louder and not so loud. Just to see if a person actually has consistency to play over a few weeks on a little instrument before such an investment is done for a few hundreds of euros, dollars, pound, whatever. So maybe a little one to see if that person is actually for a few weeks actually consistently even starting to play on such a thing, even if it sounds good on not such a, this is a proper one, that the person actually sees if they're going to do it actually. And then maybe to take something like that. If there's an option to get an actual one, we don't have to be these big ones, these grand pianos, also these little smaller ones out of wood. They are heavy, so transporting is a problem. They're very heavy, these actual ones, but it's also heavy. It's also heavy, but one can hold it. The other ones are even with 2 or 3 people, very heavy. Almost impossible. So then that the person, then if they see that they actually want to play piano, that they like to do it and actually do it, after a few weeks then get a better one for a few hundred, not much more, or another one if it's also somewhere in the area of a few hundred. So not too much money before a person doesn't really know what we're going to do it for. Yeah, so how long can it be done? Basically every age group. Every age group can start and play it also with as long as we want. There are some problems maybe with the fingers coming, but in general, aging is no problem with piano playing. So, and then the person can play. So I have 3 little pieces to show how the piano playing would work. The first one would be Beethoven's 5th Symphony, the 4th movement. So, one can play just one note and another note. Now you might need such a pedal. At least one. Actual pianos have 2 or 3, maybe even 4. With that, I can hold the sound. So if I press it, the sound keeps there. If I play a key, and if I do it away, it's again. So that I can create such a sound, or like here such a sound, and then it sounds greater. So the first one here would be that, so it would be that, and then it's about notations. So these are 88 keys. If you buy a little bit better one, it has to have these 88 keys. If you start and want to see just if you're able to do that over a few weeks every day, let's say at least 5 minutes, rather 50. It doesn't have to be awesome. And another thing I wanted to say, that is also a little bit dangerous for the fingers. You have to look also how you sit, on what you sit, how high it has to be. But this all its own technique. But you can get injured, actually quite easily if you overdo it. if you play such things here and so on, it can go all on the wrist if it's not working properly. As a little thing at the side, it's not proper advice, but everything, as soon as there's coming pain or anything going strange or feeling unwell, then stop, you're going to develop something. Then stop and take a break and that's all. Now, that would be a G. So the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then starts again. So you have to learn also how the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and there's D sharp, E sharp, and so on, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and they have these sounds, and would be a G and another G. That would be the beginning of the sound, and play together. We have already a good sound, and then that way music is done. And now it gets a little bit more complicated. Now it's intended to play it with both hands. Oftentimes the non-dominant is a bit weaker. So that would be a nice beginning melody already. And then played with both hands. And now we might see that already the problems come by. Piano playing is about practicing. Piano playing as a hobby is not about learning a piece and be able to make a piece, perform it. Piano playing is not about performing. Just 1 in 1,000 people or so is performing before other people. And it is not about performing. More than 99.9% of the time, it is practicing. It is not maybe like football or other place where it is making matches or something. Piano playing, like many instruments, is about practicing. One has to like and want to do the practicing. It is not about performing. It is not about being able to play these. That is maybe when the accomplishment at the end. But it is practicing. Piano playing is practicing, not performing. So if you see here now, the problem would be that it has to be the same. So these jumps can be a problem. So that there is maybe such a jump, let's say, from C's to C's, which could be already quite a big problem. And now when piano playing, the first thing is E. Also the length is also. So not, but an octave is for most people possible. That is mostly enough, or that is enough. Most people can do it. So and that is why many piano players playing then one thing for a long time, so they're just practicing that. They do it all the time, but they can do it without looking while playing with the other hand. And again, if that comes from uncomfortableness and so on, then stop doing that. You actually injure yourself if you do it here and practice that. Now, it would be then practicing, first with one hand, and then it is long practicing. Like both hands can do it at the same time. And then it's about expression and so on. And then also pedal. I let the pedal loose before I make the new one. Like that. So that was the first piece which I wanted to show. That would be the beginning. That is the beginning of piano playing. So like that. That can be already quite complicated to make that jump from here to here with both hands. You have to come from here, with these fingers here and here, up to here and hit here. Not too far, not too close. Also with the thumb on here, at the same time with the other hand. And I was off. That can be already complicated and takes maybe weeks, and maybe when still there are problems. So piano playing is then about practicing with. You might start a little bit easier. There are also some books or some other things which is piano playing can be started, and also easier pieces. But you can also go for whatever you want. So there's no one dictating what you have to play. Pieces are complicated. They are complicated to play. It is 99.9% practicing. So another piece which I wanted to say, a little melody would be then here. So that would be now the beginning, like that sound. It is now these sounds here, and you have in these notes, I don't have them right now here. There's one written that it is a B, so a B flat, and then it is an F, and then it is another B flat, and then another D sharp, D flat. And then all in one through, so not like that, but like that. And then you have this nice sound. That would be the first one, and the next notes would be then this. So you play a D sharp, Then. So that it technically just these 3 notes. But if you try to play it now properly, this can take you weeks or years, and you still mess it up probably sometimes. Because you played when on the last one is a little bit more pressure, so you practice when wet. And when it was off, like that. So that is piano playing, that you practice that. And it was off on the beat. And when you have a melody, you have these 4. And then you have another 4. And now you have to practice it so that you're able to play at the beginning them and then them. And another 4. So that would be the next melody. That. Here again, saxophone. And that is the lark. When you would have the beginning of a piece, that can be already quite complicated to play. And another piece, what I wanted to say about piano playing is a lot about, it's also about fast playing and complicated fast playing. So the Hates Prelude by Chopin. So the left hand plays a part of the beginning, which is red. We have here these 2 and then here these 3 played. Now here it would be already, that is quite far already for some hands. And then down like that. So if you practice that, you see the whole hand is under tension. Practice that. Don't practice that too often, too long. That can cause injuries. Like that. The left hand is playing that, and then that. And then all together. So it's technically that. All one down, which is the hand a lot. And the left hand is just playing these one. And then no fast scales, so you play them such like that. It's all the time these notes up, and then it goes actually down again. So it is not a normal task for a human hand. So the hand is coming like that, all right. The hand has to move you all the time with it. So such a scale is technically just one note after another one. But because it's played when so fast and all together, it sounds like a melody. And the left hand is when playing it at the same time, which would be quite complicated. There are easier pieces where just the right hand is doing some scale like that, and the left hand is doing less. Here a that piece, the left hand plays the red. So we F, and then up, and then 2. And now that how the right hand plays with scale. And that becomes complicated, isn't it? Because it's always intertwined, and you can't look to both ends. And now it gets complicated. So the left hand plays that. And that would be then a harder piece. Like that. And these are then complicated pieces which are difficult to learn. And that would be then basically the third type of pieces. So the first one would be majestic pieces like that. Pieces like that. Or big scale pieces. that is basically piano playing. So you can get injured, it can be expensive, you can't really transport it, there are different types of them. And you have to do like and love practicing. It is 99.9% about practicing, not about performing. You're going to spend a lot of time doing that, and you probably never even perform. But so it is about practicing. You have to love practicing for piano playing. But that is piano playing. You can have such a piano, and if you're able to do that, you have such a nice sound.